We're going to talk about some things this week in a little bit more detail than we did in the previous two. I'm progressively trying to get better as I express myself in this arena. I'm hoping that as I move forward with this, that things get better in time. One of the conclusions that I came to is that I couldn't wait on the people around me to change, so I had to change. Part of doing that was letting my mother go. The things that she did to me built the foundation for some of the things that I'm about to further explain as far as causing detriment and poor socialism in my life. Meaning she being the root cause, the cancer that caused me to have so many issues, caused me not to flourish, not only inwardly inside of me, but outward as well. I got tired of shrinking myself down to appease motherfuckers and their insecurity and their low self-esteem. I was no longer going to be that punching bag. I was no longer going to be walked over. I was going to let anybody know that. People want to sit back and watch you succeed while they try to destroy you. The weight of betrayal they hoped would cause you to shatter, to fall down a slippery slope. They're so disgusted with themselves that they wear a mask and they live within a false reality. Living in my reality bothers them. Even as a child, living in my reality bothered them. These were adults who were supposed to be perfect, because there is no book, but these were adults that I looked up to. They refused to believe that because they made themselves so small. Listening to other people, that's your mother, that's your mother, that's your mother. Fuck her. Fuck her. Tell her to act like it. Age doesn't mean a motherfucking thing. Respect is earned, not given. Even if it's a child that you pushed out of your fucking coochie, respect is earned, not fucking given. That's the problem. And what I'm about to further discuss is within this and within our community, we somehow believe that our elders can abuse and neglect us to an extreme extent. And we're supposed to literally just sit there and take it. No. They don't have accountability for the egregious things that they've done, because they've done equally as much fucked up shit to each other. You know, the raggedy bitch, when it came to me, yeah, raggedy bitch, because I'm not holding back. You know, you think you're going to keep showing your fucking ass, talking to me like you're fucking crazy? Watch this. I'm going to jump out the fucking window on your ass. Toxic relationships are never going to be something that's normal to me because I don't need you. And that's the problem with toxic individuals, whether it's family, friends, strangers. They need each other. They need each other. They put each other through things. They sling tomatoes at each other. They throw shit at each other. They're Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. They need each other. These people have done a good job of early on of teaching me not to need them. I put a spell on you. Your spell didn't work. Your spell didn't work. Your narcissistic spells did not work. You could not get me to crumble. When you were telling me that I thought I was better than, I remained on that beaten path. I continued to think that I was better than. It shows in the quality of life that I've created for myself right now that they're so confused about. People really lack accountability so much, but love to say, you could have talked to me. No, I couldn't. You don't listen. You deflect. You twist everything. You take being called out on the obvious things that you've done wrong as an attack. Then you play victim. How is it that you think that you get to say and do whatever to me, and then when I attempt to defend myself, you tell me that it's not my place, or that I shouldn't, or why would I speak on that? Or somehow that I'm aggressive, I'm a bull in a china shop, I would cause you harm, or that I'm expressing myself to antagonize you, to bully you. Now all of a sudden, I'm unpredictable. Nah, bitch, that's you. That's you. Conversations with you are not healing, they're exhausting, and honestly, I don't owe peace to someone who only shows up to win an argument, not to understand, just to respond. Just to respond. I can talk, I operate on emotion, I'm a Cancer. I know who I am. But when you're dealing with someone like my mother, certain family members, it's not about any resolve, it's about control. They will control your mental because that's absolutely their mission, is control. Control is about making them feel comfortable within your space. It's not about mutually being comfortable. It's not about one hand washes the other. This is not a two-way street. This is about them being comfortable around you. These people cannot tolerate being wrong. They rewrite a situation to protect their image. Calling you a liar shifts blame and keeps them feeling superior or right or correct, however you want to put it. One thing that my mom always used to call me was a liar. Anybody who knows me, I have a big fucking mouth. I laugh, I hee hee ha ha. Used to be a huge gossiper. I was talking about anybody, everything. Anything. If you said it to me, it was getting repeated. Now I repeat it back to you. That's how crazy I was. The reality of it is that there was nothing that I was talking about that was a lie, because people had their foot on my neck. So when I was a fat slob, I was everything under the sun, I took that to heart. I took that to be the truth. And when I talked about those poor social habits, I believed that judging one another and talking about people and that sort of thing, I believed that it was normal. So then when my mother would call me a liar, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm a liar. I have no reason to lie. You asked me a question, I'm telling you the answer. I took that as another attack, something else to take on the chin. Damn, my own mom doesn't like me so much that she really believes me to be a liar. The crazy part is the bitch didn't believe me to be a liar, is that she was so frustrated that I was not under her spell that she could not scare me enough to tell a lie for her. That's another reason how narcissists try to have control, or another way that narcissists try to have control in your life, is that you're mad because I won't tell a lie for you. You're mad because I won't protect you the way that you are trying to condition me to protect you. Nah, it's not going to happen, honey bun. But you know what that result is? It's incredibly damaging, and it undermines the trust that you have within yourself. Because even as an adult, it shows up as a second guess in my memory that really has a lasting effect on you when you can't trust your parent, and then your parent somehow can't trust you, but you ain't did a goddamn thing. You ain't did a motherfucking thing. I started to become more and more ashamed of myself, eating more and more, looking down at the ground when I walked around. When I looked at the ground, I really walked around looking at the ground. I did not want to make eye contact with anyone. I was scared of what anyone may have to say about me. I was scared of other adults, even strangers. I did not believe that the world was kind. I did not believe that the world had my best interest. Now, do we think that the world is like cakes and pies and unicorns and fairies? No. But there's kind people out here. There's people smiling in your face to tell you anything. My personal hygiene, as I mentioned already, had took a nosedive. I was wearing dirty clothes. I was not showering. I became nose blind like the Febreze commercial. I couldn't smell myself. My responsibility at home was greatly increasing. Greatly increasing. My dad was getting older. He did the best he could. I did the best he could. The older he got, the more and more he did not care. Our quality of life suffered. My reality was that I was doing okay, that I was just making it. But was it a positive situation? No. Did I still put my blinders on? Yes. Did I act like everything was okay? Yes. Did I act like I was better than? Yes. I know some of you are watching this and just cannot believe it. Yes. 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 This is my reality. I had to do what I had to do to just get through the shit. As I already said, I had to get away from my mother. I stopped going over there. My mother was talking so much shit about me and my dad, even at a distance. She was saying things like he was buying cars. We were moving so often because he was running from the IRS, that we had tax debt, that letters were coming to her house. My dad was a military veteran, untaxed income. I went to college for free, both degrees. I had a computer delivered to her house. She went around telling people that I was scamming people on the internet. You name it, you name it, she said it. I wasn't a mischievous kid. I didn't do things other kids did as far as getting into trouble. By this, like, I was just so scared and fucking timid and afraid of everything around me. I don't think anyone could have saved me from what I was experiencing. I just wanted it to stop. I wanted someone to see that even as a child that I was exhausted. Even as a child, I had nothing left in me. I was exhausted. I was eating myself to death. Physically, yeah, I looked like a lazy slob, but physically and emotionally, I was tired. Like in middle school, I failed 6th and 7th grade, as I already mentioned. My mom was pissed that my dad had to pay $420 a class for summer school at Ridley Middle. I got a fucking F in gym, an F in gym. They had to give me a fucking packet. Imagine getting an F in gym. Your kid is the size of a fucking baby beluga, a baby beluga fucking whale. I got an F in gym. You're making fun of me for getting an F. Remember, I'm a reflection of you. So if I'm getting F's in gym, you're getting F's in gym. Fucking slob. I couldn't do the pacer test. That was like beep, beep. That lady, I would do 5 or 6 laps. Be huffing and puffing. Beep, beep. I forget how she talked. Be. I couldn't do a sit-up. I couldn't support my own body weight. Physically and mentally, I was crushed, and I blamed myself for years. I felt like, why me? Why can't anyone see the good in me? Why don't I deserve that? This trickle down, as I said before, destroyed my relationship with other kids. It got me in trouble in school. My heightened level of self-awareness over adult behavior become a double-edged sword. Socially, although, because of the trauma, it became a double-edged sword socially because I was over adult. I was far past the other kids in certain types of ways. I was far beyond the other kids in a lot of different ways because of how sensitive I was. I was destroyed on so many realms that it eventually started to affect the home life that I had with my father. He became short in patience with me. He started talking down to me as a result of the way that I saw myself. Because when you see yourself a certain type of way, that really is exactly how others treat you. I'm not talking about being combative or being argumentative, not necessarily being arrogant. How you see yourself is how people will treat you. Even my own father, I was walking around looking at the ground. I was staying inside. I wasn't showering. I wasn't minding my personal hygiene. And rather than show concern, my father started talking down to me. There was many occasions that he told me that I was a burden, that I was an inconvenience. He participated in some of the behavior that my family members had participated in. No bullshit. My dad told me that I should kill myself, that if I wanted to do it, that I should do it, that I should run away. Both parents were leaving marks and bruises all over me. by the time I became a teenager. CYS, DHS cases at school, getting called into the hallway. They come in, they give you a card. You can tell us what's going on. Teachers are crying because I have bruises and stuff left all over me. Social workers took me out there to Chester and shit like that. The social workers are like, you can go through that door right there and you never have to see them again. That whole shebang. I was one of those kids. Like it was jail, the metal table, all of that. I wasn't even in there singing like a canary. That's the crazy thing. You punch me in my fucking chest or you leave a bruise the size of a softball right here. I don't know what the fuck you think is going to happen. Besides them calling the fucking people on you. And that's when I saw both of my parents act like Academy Award winning actors. Not that they had to go on there, obviously, I don't want to say obviously, but they didn't want to lose me. I couldn't tell. They became Academy Award winning actors. I had softball-sized bruises on my body. My father had dislocated my jaw, kept me home from school one time. I couldn't close my mouth for about 3 or 4 days. There was a time around Christmas that my cousins came over. He was just so hot-headed and angry. He used to bang pots and pans, kick in doors, bang on walls. He could never open the door and just wake me up and say good morning, stuff like that. He was very theatrical, and I'm not talking about in a good way. Disturb you out of your sleep, scare you out of your sleep. My dad was petty. So even as a kid, it could be the simplest thing. I didn't sweep the floor properly. I'd be asleep. Here he comes with a handful of hangers. The Walmart hangers, the teal ones, the old school teal ones. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The ones that clack together. Crack! Right across my face, right out of my sleep. Several times. Got to a point where I started sleeping with a pillow over my face because I was so scared that I was going to be startled out of my sleep. I'm talking about my chest felt like it was going to fall out. It felt like my heart was going to fall out of my chest every time he did that. He loved it. My dad used to hit me and say to me, I wanted it to hurt. I did it for a reason. He was very petty, very vindictive as well. Punch you in the mouth, ask questions later, not much apologizing. Really had a difficult time being wrong. He was a Leo, so he would do his big Leo shit and then put his tail between his legs. Weak shit. Love him to death. Love him to death. He had a lot of shit going on with him. There was a time, that occasion that I mentioned over the holidays when my cousins were over, he swung a knife at me, a long-ass bread knife. I had to jump out the way. He swung it, hit it, it got stuck in the damn wall. There was many times we'd be sitting at dinner, at the dinner table, and something would happen, we'd be having a conversation, and he threatened to stab me with his fork. Be dead serious. Tell me that he put his fork straight through my hand in the middle of dinner. He let me know many times that he could have left me with my mother. He's hit me with chairs. He's kicked in doors, as I've said. He's hit me with pots and pans, kept me home from school. He's cracked me in the head with cups, left knots all over my head, kept me home from school. He'd be in the middle of cooking. He's thrown cans at me, like open cans, but the lid still attached. I'd had my ear sliced in half one time. It got to a point where for me just to exist in the household with him, that I had to literally threaten the police or threaten self-harm on a regular basis. I wish I could make this shit up. I wish this was an episode of The Young and the Restless. It really got to a point where the self-preservation, even at home with my father, got to a point where I literally just had to do anything to get through the day, to be left alone. He had plenty of shortcomings. They're not right. But my father did sacrifice for me. The things that he did, he apologized for. I had to let him know the fucked up part of it was the only thing that got this all to stop was the fact that I had to let him know that although I lived with him, that this is how sick it is. This is what I mean by my father knew exactly what was going on. was that I had to let him know that I considered him and my mother to be one and the same. That it had gotten to a point where, as I previously said before, that I didn't become who I was becoming to be like him or to be like her. This is long before gay or any of that. I literally was becoming who I was becoming in spite of them. And yes, my dad was older and he was still alive and stuff like that. I explained to him, I was waiting to become an adult. I was waiting to get the fuck away from you. And I'm your only son, and I want to be nowhere near you. I want to be nothing like you. On one occasion, he spit on me. He used to hit me really hard right in my chest. One time, he knocked me down. I fell right into the corner of this wooden dresser. It was when you would get the children's furniture. It'd be that raw wood. You could paint it any color. It was a raw wood set. You could do anything with it. He pushed me into the corner of the damn dresser. I fell, and I hit the center of my head into the dresser. I had to go and get an MRI for that. I had migraines through the entirety of my childhood. He begged me not to tell the doctor how it happened. I have a deviated septum from him punching me in my nose. When I couldn't close my mouth for those 3 days, even right now, I have a crossbite. Instead of an overbite or an underbite, my crossbite goes from left to right. So from him hitting me like this, my teeth are like that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My mother maced me for visiting my grandmother before she passed away. I had stopped by just randomly to see my grandmother. She was dying of chronic kidney disease. She was not someone that was easy to deal with, as I already explained before. My grandmother was trying to make up for lost time, and we had been talking on the phone. We had been keeping in touch with each other. We had been just very kind to one another. It was some take it or leave it type of stuff. I wasn't leaving it. I was going to take it. If my grandmother was going to act like a grandmother at some point in her life, then I was taking that. I was taking that. I got there, rang the doorbell. She told me that my grandmother wasn't home and didn't want to answer the door. My trifling ass mother still lives in the house. It's a family house. She still lives there. She told me my grandmother wasn't home. I'm like, come on. Where else would she be? Where else would she be? She made my grandmother come downstairs, answer the door on her own. I get upstairs because my grandmother's right in front of me. I didn't say a word. Normally, I would have ripped her head off for even doing something like that. I said hello. I remain cordial. I go in the bedroom. Grandma, I'm sitting on the bed, crossroad puzzle. She's watching her cartoons. Grandma love cartoons, Scooby-Doo, stuff like that. Oh, honey, I ain't doing shit. It ain't shit. Is you smarter than a fifth grader? That was her favorite line. That was my grandmother. She loved that. Is you smarter than a fifth grader? That's just something that she liked to say. It ain't shit. It ain't shit. You know, honey, I'm hanging in there, honey. Honey. So I'm standing there talking to her. My aunt comes in the door behind me. None of these people I speak to anymore. We're standing there having the conversation. My mom is so jealous and so narcissistic. She comes down the hallway. Oh, so you ain't got nothing to say to me? I said calmly, no, I do not. I'm the mother. I'm the mother. I got something I'll show you. So she goes down the hallway, grabs this hot pink mace keychain, comes down the hallway. My grandmother and her get up, meaning my aunt and my grandmother get up. Oh, come on, Tammy, don't do that, Tammy, come on, Tammy. We're inside, in the house. They go to grab her arm. Next thing you know, she presses the mace, trying to reach up to me because I'm 6'6". The next thing you know, she sprays the mace in my grandmother and my aunt's face. I pulled back so hard for the first time in my life. I went bop. I punched her dead center in her fucking nose. I knocked her flat on her fucking back. They fell on top of each other like a deck of fucking cards, like the Three fucking Stooges, like those nesting dolls. They fell right on top of each other like dominoes. Now, this is too much for me because this is not the type of stuff that I get into. She's laying on the floor. My grandmother's choking. My aunt's choking. It's in my eyes. Like I have a spritzing of it. Like I got seasoned and sprinkled with it. So I'm just the whole time. So now I'm cussing her out. And not that I'm into hitting women. I'm ready to kick her in her stomach. My aunt says, don't do that, Leaky. Please don't do that. That's what they like to call me, Leaky. Don't call me Leaky. I don't get into that. I took that keychain and I slipped it onto my keys. I dangled it in her face. I emptied the rest of the mace that was left in it. Turns out that it was expired. Told her to get fucking ghost before I call the fucking cops. Grandmother's choking her lungs out. Blood pressure's through the fucking roof. The roof done blown the fuck off. She's black. She's the color of a fucking tomato. I'm apologizing to her as if I had done this. This is literally because I came in and said hi, that I was talking to my grandmother and my aunt, but not talking to her. I'ma show you. I'm the mother. All about control. You would think this is about me being gay. I didn't come out to my family until I was 16. My cousins always called me weird names and shit because I was gay. They didn't know from me verbally. Even on my father's side, my cousins, my nephews often, said I was weird. Listen to how he talks. I used to think that was about me being white, but then they used to call me a blade. Back in the day, if you was a blade, you was a stone cold. That's the best way to put it. I have two sisters that never liked me. They raised their kids to not really like me. They were always talking about me. Malik thinks he's this, Malik thinks he's that. Projecting their own low income insecurities on me, low value insecurities on me. I'm not talking about that to put them down. I'm talking about the level in which they minimalize themselves in relation to materials and aesthetics and that silver spoon, living in an urban environment versus living in the city, and not even realizing that I lived in both. They were constantly comparing themselves to me, angry because I was growing up better than their own kids, teaching their kids that I was growing up better than them. It's literally, they're my siblings. So if you're frustrated with the way that I'm growing up, I think that you should take that out on our father, because we didn't have the same mother. These chicks are 25 years older than me. They're 50 plus right now and cannot stand me. Unhealed, traumatized adults willing to unload their traumas onto me. I wasn't looking for a Dr. Phil. I was looking for the same patience and grace that would be extended to a child just because a child was a child, no matter how much you couldn't stand them. I was waiting around still for somebody to fix it, and nobody was salvation for me. Imagine being a child knowing that people dislike you this much. So I realized that it was only for me to fix. It was only for me to fix. So, talking about my father and I becoming increasingly distant as a result of the mental state that I had been put in with my mother, the abuse and neglect that I was experiencing at his hands. I was home alone more often than none. I was going to sleep and waking up to my dad not home. He was always hustling, moving and shaking, selling drugs, playing cards. I used to ride around with him back in the day. That all stopped. That used to be some of our best times. Suddenly, it wasn't even a thought. I was just home eating, staying to myself, being a loner, living with my privilege and my imaginary silver spoon. We lived in Springfield and Morton for a time, which was a calm, cool suburb. We lived on a cul-de-sac. Shout out to Morton. Everybody knew each other out there. It was a close-knit black community, mixed community. Everyone knew each other, that sort of thing. Then I moved to Ridley, into a 2-bedroom apartment. Fuck Ridley. It was a nightmare. That's a whole nother episode. We'll talk about that at a different time. Talking about a loss of identity. Ridley, full of racist junkie bums and DL Italians. I kept crying out for help. My attitude changed. I started cursing. I was really intense, insulting those around me. I was talking about others before they could talk about me. It was not normal. I thought it was normal. It wasn't. I knew it protected me from being talked about first, at least to my face. It ostracized me, as I've been stating, from having any type of meaningful relationships or bonds as a child, because how can anybody trust me if I'm talking about everybody right here? No matter how much someone is smiling, no matter how much someone's like, yeah, if I'm always gossiping, then obviously when they leave the room, they know I'm going to talk about them. I was buying friends, doing things to keep them around, often knowing where I stood or where I didn't stand, maintaining friendships constantly. Well, did you ever try to talk to anyone? Did you ever try to tell anyone how you felt? I tried to tell my dad, my mother, my sisters, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles. They didn't care. I'm talking about people who were college educated, people who seemed established, teachers, principals, lawyers, mandatory reporters, people who make a living being around children on a daily, believing that they contribute to their best interests, especially on my dad's side of the family. People with several master's degrees that have traveled to places that at the time that I had never been, foreign cars, people who seem to be of substance. Then I realized they were nobody to look up to either, so fuck them. Everything that I expressed, no matter how extreme, I was either dramatic or it was my fault. Just like my mother's side of the family, my dad's side of the family, different journey, same niggified conclusion. The people that I fuck with, very few, are the people that I fuck with. The people that I don't are the people that I don't. I know that they may see this, and I don't give a damn, because I don't need them. They don't need me. They did a very good job of letting me know that they don't need me and that I should not need them. People who sweep things under the carpet, sweep things under the rug, envious of me. Grown people talking about me. Grown men making me the topic of their conversation, talking about my sexuality, how I talk. One of my cousins that I ran into, I pressed hard, walking up to me like he want to ask me for some money. No, stay on that shit that you was talking. I'm weak. I'm a sissy. Keep up with that. I'm 2 feet taller than you too. My cousins focusing on my sexuality, how I act, trying to act like I'm volatile, like I have threatened them, or I've come to somebody's house and turned something over and destroyed something. My cousins were all raised by single mothers. I had a dad, have a dad. Don't have a mother though. They are all influenced by my father. Always have a story on how great he was, how he taught them to deal with women, how he taught them to be a man, how he taught them about pussy, how he said this, how he said that. Always something endearing to say. Always telling me how to be. I have a dad. The same guy that you're talking about is the same guy that raised me. I paid good attention to him when it came to being a fucking boy. Because if anybody knows me, yeah, I talk with my hands. It don't take Stevie Wonder to see. I'm gay as the day is long. If you know how I carry myself, you know that I'm a boy. It was a real mind fuck for my family, for their Uncle Joel, like I said, punch you in the chest Ask questions later. Uncle Joel has a big ass, sloppy ass gay son. The crazy part is they had never heard me say gay out of my mouth. They took that and ran with it. They had decided that I was gay. Like I said, you gotta be Stevie Wonder to see. I think that you should hear it out of the black sheep's mouth. At the time, the big black cow. Get your ass out of here, Steely Dan. Now, the big black sheep. You should have waited for the black sheep to say it out of his mouth first. Then do what you want to do, because everything ain't for everybody. That's another thing. I have never tried to force myself to be a huge pill to swallow. I know now that you either have to love me or hate me. That ain't on my behalf either. Rather than be direct about the homophobia, they were very passive about it, attacking me, agonizing me passively, always talking about what I say on social media, consuming themselves with how I conduct myself. If I'm this small, I mean nothing. I'm not on your level, and all the things that I've described, why would the way that I conduct myself be of concern for you? If I'm a piece of shit, let me be a big steaming pile of shit. It was always more about appearances. Like I said, these were people with education and things like that and mandatory reporters. So the reality of it is, why didn't you reach out to me and ask me what was wrong? Where was the concern? It wasn't about accepting me. These people were not equipped to understand me. It's just that they didn't want to be equipped to understand me. All they know is that Malik's a child and he needs to get in where he fit in. They didn't say anything to my father. Not at all. I mean, nothing. If they did, it wasn't very much. So if you wanted me to be held accountable, or if there was something that I said that made you so uncomfortable, address the adult. See, again, this is what I mean by being over adult. People seeing something within you that they don't see within themselves. They see too much privilege. They think that you have too much of this or too much of that. They were addressing a child directly, a child that was a product of their circumstance. A lot of this has to do with, as well, is the black urban experience. The children should be seen and not heard. The who is he to do this? The who is he to say that? The who is he to know about this? I didn't do that till I was 25 years old. I didn't have a cell phone till I was this. That level of projection. All that education, the elevator still only goes so far. It was performative. There's some exceptions to this. My favorite aunt, uncle, and cousin in D.C., rest in peace, Uncle Joseph, his wife, his son, his beautiful wife, their daughters are very, very dear to me. My uncle found me to be very smart, very entertaining. I did piss him off and frustrate him. My uncle understood me. And God rest his soul, my Uncle Joseph loved me. He was an ambassador to the State Department. He was someone I admired greatly. He was a kind and considerate man that wanted the best for me. Uncle Joseph, I can say, wasn't escape, but Uncle Joseph did not know what was going on. You would think everything that I described would be obvious, but I mean, there was some serious blinders on. He didn't know much about me being abused, neither did his immediate family. But man, he sure did make me feel special when I came over there. I could eat what I wanted to eat. He never judged me for my size. He drove BMWs. He's the reason why I fell in love with BMWs. He lived in D.C. on the Potomac River. He spoke how I spoke, full sentences. He didn't tell me that I talked white or that I sounded a certain way. He showed me black excellence. He showed me that you can go from here to here. I'm thankful for that. He passively, without knowing, showed me how to be a man. He showed me how to be self sufficient. He showed me how to take no shit, but to still be kind. You don't have to get walked all over, but you got to know how to pick your battles. He got to know me. He liked my curious mind. Those of you who know about me know I have a computer science degree. Uncle Joseph bought me my first computer, which was a beige Windows 95 box out of the U.S. State Department. I didn't see Uncle Joseph that often. The more and more that I had gotten depressed, the less and less that I reached out. I don't think it was, again, necessarily on me to reach out. I don't think that, I don't believe that he judged me. I just knew that they knew something was wrong, but they just weren't quite sure. I'm pretty sure that if I had made a bigger cry of help in his direction or my cousin's direction, besides me being vulgar on Facebook and people having feelings about me being vulgar on Facebook, I think that we could have made up for a lot of lost time. God rest his soul. I wanted to take a special moment to speak about that because I can't forget that. I can't forget that. I love the memories that we had. These people showed me that the grass really could be greener on the other side. When I was around them, I was worth something. These were small little occasions and small little escapes, but I was worth something when I was with them. I also learned from them that they experienced their own strife, their own contention at the hands of other family members that were doing things to me, saying things to me as well. Once I was privy to that, not being a victim, but privy to the fact that, okay, so there really is some poor dynamics within this family, like some very poor dynamics that people are not working on, that people are not bringing to the forefront. People are going years without speaking. They showed me that the sky is the limit. I don't think that they were meant to save me either, even if they knew. I don't think it's something that anything that I was experiencing, I don't think that's something they could have saved me from. My aunt and my cousin and his family are so very dear to me. So very dear to me. So very dear to me. The thing that I don't think anyone understood was I yearned to be around these people on a more consistent basis. But back to being over adult, my dad was old, my family was set in their ways. Remember, your family doesn't like you. He never felt the need in his head to maintain anything for me, to call anyone for me, say, hey, can I send them there for the summer? Can you bring your kids over here for the summer? My cousins and stuff came over and shit like that. They broke up all my toys, were disrespectful. They don't eat this, they don't eat that. Everything was like jumping through hoops. Everything is an issue. They don't like this, they don't like that. I wasn't called, I wasn't invited places. Cousins of mine have dynamics out of this world that I have never experienced. Nothing's owed to me, it's just that I just was not there. My family turned their back on me more and more and more. I was never really liked, but I was liked less and less and less. My dad was getting older, slowing down more and more and more. When other family members died, my dad and I were right there with the family. He often paid, helped with funeral processions, like the older brother should in the family. The moral basis was there. Funerals and weddings and things like that. So I had a normal upbringing. It's just that these people were very intentional, and this is who I believed you to be, and I don't like you. What I also didn't realize is that while people respected my father, they did not like him. The same way people say that if someone doesn't like your mother, they don't like you, that goes for any parent. My sisters were jealous of me, so were their kids. My adult cousins despise me to this day because I grew up more privileged than they did. This is not a conclusion that I came to. This is verbalized to me. When they said that I came too late when I was born, they had already had their kids. No one had the chance to love on me. People make time for people, places, and things that they want to make time for. There was no time for me. That was said to my face. The reality is you didn't try to love on me because you didn't want to. To make it an easier pill for you to swallow, you have to say these mean, evil, hurtful things that you could have died with or stuck up your fucking ass. You have to say it to my face. All the way through my father's illness, which will be its own episode in itself, I was not supported down to the day that he took his last breaths. I went to every chemo appointment. I set him up with oncology, home care, social workers. I bathed him, I fed him, I grocery shopped, I moved him to the city to get him closer to the VA. Everyone in my family lost a sibling or a parent to some form or some stage of major cancer. I called on those people to support me. They just did not reply. They did not show up. Even when he got sick, I was a piece of shit, gum on the bottom of their shoe, constantly telling me who I should be, how I should talk, how I should act, who I rubbed the wrong way. Everything was, if I want to be a part of this family, and I realized I don't. The judgment for me was already too far gone. I'm not dealing with the red tape. I'm not jumping through the hoops. You've decided that because I'm my father's child and the conclusions that you've come to about me within all of your projection and insecurity, your unresolved hurt, and the shit that you wear on your sleeves and on the chips that you have on your shoulder, the constant reminder that you have to let me know that I'm not on your level and you have 3 master's degrees, where you've worked and what you've done, it still didn't get you a husband. I invited certain people to my high school graduation. I had 4 tickets. 2 of them, one was my mom, one was my dad. Invited 2 family members to the reunion. You think they waited for me to get off the stage? They were gone. Do you think the card had any money in it? Or a gift card to Borders or something? That's how old I am, because Borders was still open. Something to get books with, something for college. You think anybody asked me where I was going to school? One of them was a principal. Someone I looked up to, somebody I cared about, somebody that I loved dearly. Apparently, whatever I said on Facebook 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, was enough to be ostracized to the ends of the earth, till the next lifetime. I've been uncomfortable for way too long, way too long. Someone might say, see, this is the shit that I'm talking about. No, you don't have to understand me because I don't understand you. And I don't live in the reality that you live in. I'm not participating in it. We came up with a plan if something happened to your father. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Because when he got sick, you didn't show up. We didn't get to love on you because we were scared he was going to take you away. Bullshit. Bullshit. That's the conclusions that you came up with so you could go to sleep at night. I promise you, I was somewhere fucked up waiting on your ass. I never had a high school graduation party. I asked that same family member that was at graduation if I could have a graduation party at their house. They told me yes. And 2 weeks later, they told me no. My dad gambled away all the money that summer. I reached out because I needed to sign up for some college classes. My dad gambled all the money away that summer. So basically, the money that I had on hand between my credit card and the money that I had was enough to take care of the bills at home. It was not enough to secure my classes. I thought by expressing to this individual, hey, could you help me secure these classes? Your brother did some fucked up shit. I'll give you my refund check because you know how this goes with FAFSA. I'll have it before the end of the month, the end of September. I just need a deposit for the classes. You think that somebody tried to understand me? Do you think that anyone was patient with me? No, I got told that I was called with huge fucking windfalls. Got cussed out to the ends of the earth for 2 hours as I'm sitting there trying to figure out how I'm going to eat, how I'm going to pay the bills. My dad shrugging his shoulder that I don't give a fuck, and all I'm trying to do is go to college. A no would have sufficed. Even a fuck you no would have sufficed. It's because it's me. It's because it's me. Why would I have even tried to do something like that? Like I said earlier, everyone in my family has lost someone to cancer, someone that meant something to them, a sibling, a parent, whatever. When my dad got sick, I reached out to one of my cousins who I do not fuck with. The reason why I reached out is that, again, I don't expect anyone to be Dr. Phil or solve things for me. I reached out because she lost her mother at a young age when she had cancer. Her mother was my father's sister. They were a year apart. They were both Leos. I never had heard a story that was told to me where my aunt wasn't being kind to someone or being generous to someone. The hospital that she worked at, that she meant a lot to a lot of people here in Philadelphia. So I'm thinking, all right, let me reach out. I'm still jumping through hoops. Hey, can I meet you after work? I know you're busy. I know you teach all day. Can we have a cup of coffee? I'll meet you at a diner in New Jersey. My dad is sick. He's not going to be here much longer. I'm just trying to prepare for what things look like after he passes away. She proceeded to tell me that I wasn't on her level, that she had 3 degrees. What does she look like meeting with me to discuss anything with me? That was my problem, and why nobody fucked with me. This is in a text message. I reached out because I was scared. I reached out because I was alone. I was a kid that was making myself small, putting my tail in between my legs because I was losing my father. As a man, although they didn't see me as one, it was important to me that I did not fail. I wasn't asking for anybody to take care of me. I just remember when everybody else got sick, us being at the hospital together. I just remember when everybody else got sick, us spending a lot of time together. I remember when everybody else got sick, there was a funeral, there was a memorial. It's not that I couldn't have one or that I couldn't afford one. They told me no. I was reaching out because I needed help. I was reaching out because I wasn't all right. I was reaching out because I was beside myself. I was reaching out because I needed a hug. I was watching my father. I'm on the internet crying. Lord have mercy on my soul. I was watching my father deteriorate from stage 4 cancer. My life was a slippery slope for as far as I could remember. All these things that I explained seemed to make people really enjoy to see me this way. My silver spoon and the perceptions of me, my arrogance, had led them to believe that life's gonna kick him all in his ass. What confused me about when I reached out to my cousin was her mother dying when she was my age didn't resonate with her. My family rallied around her, took her back and forth to Ohio State University, made sure that she got through college. While she experienced a monumental loss, all in the same breath, with all the support, all the love. Not that she didn't work for it, but all the support, all the love that she experienced, she was not willing to extend any to me. She was not willing to try to understand me. Understand? No. We're going to tear you down. We're going to make sure that you feel it all. I was looking for them to do for me what had been done for them. It didn't happen. I never spoke down to her. It's just the way that I talk, the way that I communicate. Apparently, I'm not at that level yet. Like, to talk like this and to talk like that, you got to be 40 years old. I have a 401k. I have a Roth IRA. I see 6 figures. I'm not in any debt. Didn't take me 3 degrees either. 2, not 3. This constant need to remind me that she's not stupid. You being stupid was never a thought to me, chick. That's why I act the way that I act. That's why you and we're here, but we're really not here. Somehow, I'm not on your level. I make you upset enough to feel the need to say such things. So in reality, which one of us is really insecure, struggling with navigating through life within their personal independences? You. This is an educated individual, several degrees. Banks, lawyer's office, teaching, participated in other children's well-being, fundraisers, such things like that. This same individual that said these things to me, the same week my father passed away, called me 10:30 at night to drive from Clementon, New Jersey, the same block as Clementon Park. Can you, this is not usual for me. You think you could get me some weed and you could roll it for me? I'll pay you. Drove across the motherfucking Ben Franklin Bridge, paid the motherfucking toll, brought their ass to me 11 o'clock at night so I could roll them a fucking blunt, but you couldn't meet me for a cup of coffee because I'm not on your level. Because you such a sophisticated bitch, you couldn't find no fucking weed, huh? You don't know nothing about that, huh? My dad was dead, laying on the slab in the funeral home. I signed on the dotted line. I didn't have to ask nobody for a dollar. I don't need a pat on the back because I'm going to always do what I was supposed to do for my fucking father. I didn't need a fucking dollar. At 20 years old, 2 weeks before my 21st birthday, my father was taken care of. We get to the parking lot. Everybody's there performing, patting me on the shoulder, giving me hugs, shit like that. They don't give a damn. Okay? They asked me, oh, what are you about to do? You all right? What's happening? I said, let me get down this highway. I'm going to go home. I'm going to lay down and I'm going to smoke me some weed. I got 10 fucking phone calls before I could even get a block away about why would I say that I was smoking some weed in front of my fucking aunt. I was just at Thanksgiving dinner at her house and she asked me if I had smoked some weed outside and I said yes. If I'm not lying, what's the issue? Is your dad dead in there? This is narcissism. Oh, I would have never said that. See, this is your problem. Why would you say that? This is not about you. This is not about her. This is not even about being performative. I literally said that I'm going to go smoke some weed and clear my mind and lay the fuck down because I literally, at 20 years old, just planned someone's funeral procession, someone's death. I just paid for my dad to be cremated. Since he died, I have not been invited to one Thanksgiving meal or been to one occasion, joyous occasion, in 8 years. When my father died, I died. They don't care how responsible I was. They don't care that I did right by him. My dad was the only family member that I can recall that did not get a memorial or a funeral. Like my dear Uncle Joseph, who was an ambassador, his processions were not until some months after he passed away. And that's because he was a diplomat. It had to be scheduled. There was some people in some pretty high places that wanted to pay respect to his life. Not that they are the same type of men or that type of thing, because like I said, my dad was respected, but he was not liked. He was tolerated. It was still one of those things that he was the oldest man in the family. He was looked up to. It's ironic because all of my cousins that are males had daughters. So the last name does not carry. As ironic as it is, I'm the legacy of my family. The big gay guy that nobody likes is the last male to continue the legacy of our last name. My dad's biggest thing that he used to tell me is with picking battles is that you're big, you're black, you're gay, and you're smart. For one of those reasons, no matter who you call, whether you're at work, you're in public, or whichever setting that you're in, you're going to know that you're not wrong. Someone is going to try to make you wrong. He always explained to me that he was in extreme fear for me after he passed away, how that was going to play out for me. And that was one of the best lessons that he taught me. I learned from my family that basically my father's life didn't deserve to be celebrated, at least on their behalf. There was no repass. Nobody asked me where I was going to go. They didn't call the phone just to see if my phone was going to ring. Christmas, Thanksgiving, holidays went on by. His anniversary went by. No birthdays, no anniversaries, no cards in the mail. Nothing that you would typically do when you talk about coming from educated individuals, people of substance. None of that occurred. It's been almost 9 years. I have one cousin that I speak to regularly. Even that cousin was a challenge because he's the same person always telling me an endearing story. When my father died, I didn't see him for 4 or 5 years. My last living uncle. that hung out with my dad up until he took his last breaths stopped speaking to me as well. My existence literally did not matter. I have a Facebook. These people know my name. They have a Facebook. I know their name. They did not care. Out of sight, out of mind. My aunt doesn't like me, so they decided that they don't like me. They all went on a trip to Vegas. In fact, invited my sisters, whom they don't like. My sister, actually, my one sister, she kept my dad's ashes for 5 years. They invited her to Vegas. They're sitting in the MGM Grand, the Palace Casino, wherever the fuck, sitting around the table like an episode of Young and the Restless talking about me. Talking about me. I get a phone call. Well, we were on a trip and we were sitting at the table. Such and such said, has anybody spoken to Malik? My phone rings. My Facebook exists. It's been years. And the only reason that me and my cousin have a relationship to this day is because he was so ashamed that they all went around the table. They're staring at their fucking plates. They literally talking about, no, none of us have spoken to Malik. So I really only have some type of family dynamic because someone felt guilty enough within the dysfunction to reach out to me. That took a lot of hard and direct conversation for that to become very positive as of right now. That individual may be watching this. That individual may be watching this and may not be liking the things that I'm saying right now. Guess what? It does not matter because this is my experience. Everyone has always been on some take it or leave it shit with me. The way that I feel, I'm always willing to take it or leave it. I left it. You ostracize me, you push me over here. I'm over here, you guys are over here. I'm fine over here. You can't be upset with me because I'm standing 10 toes down and the way that I was mistreated. I'm choosing not to accept that. I'm not coming back to that. I'm not engaging in that. I don't want to be a part of that. I am not putting on that mask. We're not living in two realities. The reality is these are adults that came to conclusions about a child and left a child behind in that child's formative years, in his impressionable years, in the years that he can be influenced, in the years that he was crying out for help, the years that he did need help. Nobody could be bothered because they were too busy with their own lives. Now I'm too busy with mine. My sister kept my dad's ashes after he passed. I'm going to discuss that in another episode because that was a major point of contention. It took me 5 years to get my father's ashes, although I took care of the processions. These chicks were not apart. They were not kept away. He was not abused. They went into the hospital telling the hospital they didn't know who I was. I was my dad's power of attorney. University of Penn had me escorted out of the hospital. I had to provide their legal team with copies of documentation with my dad's signature, meaning my birth certificate, my custody agreement from when he took my trifling ass mother to court. I had to mark my dad as if he was a shooting victim, like he wasn't in the hospital because they were going in there with so much drama. They weren't focused on his best interest. They were focused on going in there and starting drama in regards to me and confused as to how does he have this level of control because I'm his power of attorney, which I had recorded and witnessed to protect myself and him. I didn't keep anyone away. I had cookouts, occasions, and stuff like that. The last thing that one of them trifling bitches said to me was, "It's too hot." That was the last cookout that he had. That was the last birthday that he had. I literally said to her, I didn't go off on her. I just said, hey, you don't like me, that's fine. This is our father. And I am inviting you here because this is our father. always letting me know. She was so big and mighty. I was so small, always letting me know that I'm not on her level either. That's how these people talk. Oh, you think you're that dude? No, you just think you're that bitch. That's what's so important to you. So he died. He died. And she spent no time with her father. Neither did the other one either. The other one showed up 6 months before he passed, crying, shoulda, woulda, couldas, and stuff like that because he gave her $200 and she burned him for it. Just trifling stuff. Just really trifling stuff. The reality of it is they don't like me because I did anything. It's just literally as it was verbalized with the ashes. My one cousin who called me sissy and weak called me talking about, why are you arguing with your sister about your father's ashes? Because it's our father. I never said that she couldn't have any. I'm just asking her to split them with me. She's the oldest. You should let her rock out with the ashes. Bro, you didn't put a dime into this. She didn't ask about a dime. Everything was paid for by me at 20 years old, signed on the dotted line. You're talking about rock out with some ashes? What type of Young and the Restless, Bold and the Beautiful, niggified, crumb bum ass shit is this? How emotionally dysfunctional, destroyed are you to think that this is normal? Then this pussy ass nigga's on my fucking phone calling me sissies and shit, threatening me, talking about that he'd come down and fuck me up over my sister. Fuck you in that bitch. To this day, same nigga that I just ran into in my neighborhood, I pressed his bitch ass. Fuck you. So I finally got my dad's ashes. I lied to you not. She put my dad's ashes, I'm talking about to travel to me because she would not meet me. She put my dad's ashes in a 1/4-pound chicken salad container, mind you, poppy seed chicken salad container from the deli that you snap close like from Pathmark, Acme, Albertsons, Kroger, wherever the fuck you shop at. She put our father into a chicken salad container. When she put the ashes in the container, this was about hurting me. Even years later, us not speaking, not seeing each other, not dealing with each other. I reached out to some family members from 5 years prior when my dad had passed away because they had helped me try to get the ashes. She was stringing them along. She wouldn't meet them. The urn that I purchased, you guys know that urns are not cheap. The urn that I purchased for my father that was supposed to be brought back to me ended up in the back of a closet for 5 years. I had to ask for it 3 times. When I got my dad's ashes back sitting in this deli container, I let some people know, hey, this is how I got these ashes. You know what they said to me? Well, at least you got them. Beggars can't be choosers. At least you got them. That's the level of respect that they had for me, taking care of my dad literally till I closed his eyes. These people are demons. They are pure evil. I wouldn't spit in these motherfuckers' mouth if their guts were on fire. The people that I fuck with are the people that I fuck with. The people that I don't, they have done a good job of letting me know that I don't. No Thanksgiving dinner in 10 years. The ex-husbands are there. The family friends are there. I'm not invited. I'm working on that side of the bridge. People talk, oh, I'll bring you a plate. No, that's too much like right. Don't bring my fat ass a plate. I don't want anything. Don't pity me. Oh, I gotta pray on if he can come over here. Don't pray on a goddamn thing. Don't pray on nothing. I'm not welcome at your house. Then when certain people come around me, oh, make sure you get a picture. You could have came over. You could have called me. You could pick up the phone. You could do a FaceTime. I've given gifts back. Family keepsakes, heirlooms. pictures and stuff like that, things that had to be dry cleaned, keepsakes. How do you have that? Oh, so my dad didn't give a damn about his family? Anything but treating me like I'm a human being that was raised with decency or couth. Only seeing my shortcomings. Not any positivity, not the good inside of me. The crazy part is, I saw all the good inside of these people. They did a great job of showing me all of their shortcomings. I don't like you, and I don't need to. Fourth and final part is coming next week. Thank you for watching.